Hi there, you're watching Nightline and I'm Azaria Tagaya. The top stories. Malaysia's trade performance hits record high of 1.65 trillion ringgit. And military procurement personnel to be rotated every 3 years. Malaysia's January to July trade in 2024 grew by 9.8% year-on-year to hit 1.652 trillion ringgit, the highest value recorded in the country's history. The strong growth was driven by high exports of palm oil products, machinery, petroleum products and electronic goods. Exports increased by 5.1% to 862.23 billion ringgit and imports by 15.5% to 789.71 billion ringgit during the 7 months, resulting in a trade surplus of 72.52 billion ringgit. Meanwhile, in terms of performance for July 2024 alone, trade jumped 18.3% year-on-year, the fastest rate in 21 months. The value reached 255.88 billion ringgit, the highest since October 2022. Exports also continued their upward trajectory for the fourth consecutive month, expanding by 12.3% to 131.15 billion ringgit, while imports increased by 25.4% to 124.73 billion ringgit. Malaysia recorded robust gross domestic product GDP growth of 5.9% in the second quarter this year, which is expected to enhance investor confidence and unlock further trade opportunities. The strong expansion for the period also paves the way for the country to achieve Bank Negara Malaysia's growth forecast of 4% to 5% for 2024. The trade figures reinforce Malaysia's economic standing and set a strong foundation for future growth. They also highlight Malaysia's competitive position in the global market, especially in key sectors such as palm oil, petroleum products and electrical and electronic products. While the figures signal Malaysia's economic resilience capable of sustained growth, they can attract more foreign direct investment (FDI). On a positive trajectory, the figures potentially pave the way for continued economic expansion and further integration into the global economy.
Given that our domestic demand is likely to remain resilient, so we have seen that higher growth in terms of import of capital goods as well as import of consumption goods, and higher imports of intermediate goods also indicates a better prospect in terms of export growth going forward. So in a nutshell, I think the July trade number has been quite commendable, and it should translate into positive contribution towards our national GDP going forward.
Parties involved in the procurement of military assets and the construction of military facilities will be rotated every 3 years to prevent misconduct, including corruption. Defence Minister Datuk Seri Mohammad Khalid Nordin stated that those involved in military asset procurement will not remain in their positions for long to ensure the process is free from corruption and abuse of power.
Yang penting kita ambil saranan daripada pihak kerajaan, iaitu supaya mereka yang menjadi yang menentukan spesifikasi ataupun yang menilai, mungkin kita akan rotate. Dia tidak kekal lama. Maknanya every 3 years kita akan ubah. Itulah antara yang kita akan buat.
Khalid spoke to the media after attending the launch of the ministry's Fly the Jalur Gemilang program in conjunction with the 2024 National Month celebration in Kuala Lumpur on Monday. He said the ministry relies on the budget approved by the Finance Ministry before determining the type of assets required. On Saturday, the Yang di-Pertuan Agong, His Majesty Sultan Ibrahim, said the country's sovereignty and dignity would be compromised if military officers were involved in corruption and abuse of power. Sultan Ibrahim emphasized that as the Supreme Commander of the Malaysian Armed Forces, His Majesty will not tolerate any officers who practice corruption, abuse of power or fail to carry out their duties as military officers. The 2035 Bumi Putra Economic Transformation Plan, or Putra 35, that was rolled out on Monday, will serve as a massive shift to spur Bumi Putra development and make Malaysia a regional economic driver. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said that as times change, the country needs a new plan that will drive the Bumi Putra agenda to greater heights, but at the same time not leaving anyone behind. Putra 35 encompasses 3 core areas, 12 growth drivers and 132 comprehensive initiatives in empowering and advancing Bumi Putra development.
Ya, pelan transformasi ekonomi Bumi Putra 2035 perlu kita nak merancang. Tetapi tanggungjawab saudara dari agensi kerajaan, dari syarikat-syarikat kerajaan, dari jabatan-jabatan dan kementerian, percayalah, kita akan pantau dari dekat dan kita mahu program dan plan ini berjaya untuk memartabatkan Bumi Putra dan rakyat Malaysia.
Anwar also urged all Bumi Putra empowerment agencies to plan their programs responsibly and with full accountability. The Prime Minister said the Bumi Putra-related policy in Malaysia is always an affirmative policy to think and reflect on the situation of injustice, but never to set aside interests of Indian children, Chinese children, let alone the children of Bumi Putra, Orang Asli or the natives of Sabah and Sarawak.
Sebab itu pendekatan baru kita bila kita bicarakan soal miskin tegar, dia tidak lihat dari segi kaum. Siapa yang tergolong di bawah kategori miskin tegar itu harus dibantu. Saya di antara yang Perdana Menteri yang paling sedikit bicara soal Bumi Putra dan dasar ekonomi Bumi Putra. Karena saya lebih berminat untuk memastikan pelaksanaannya daripada menghebahkan dasarnya.
On the same stage, Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi said the success of Putra 35 should be measured based on its effectiveness rather than how much is being allocated for the initiative.
Bukan lagi melalui indikator terhadap berapa banyak perbelanjaan yang telah dikeluarkan, tetapi sejauh mana efektifnya segala usaha yang telah diterapkan melalui pemantauan itu.
He also highlighted the success of the Sarawak state government in empowering its economy.
Dia tiada hati perut sebab sanggup membunuh ibu bapa yang menjaganya daripada kecil. Kedua-dua mangsa ada kesantikaman berganda.
Tan Kim Jo, 73 dan isterinya Eng Chong Hua, 67 adalah disebabkan kecederaan parah akibat tikaman berganda.
Tengku Mahkota of Pahang, Tengku Hassanal Ibrahim Alam Shah, has expressed his anger and deep regret at the actions of Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin, who deliberately belittled and disputed the duties and role of the Sultan of Pahang, Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah, during his reign as the 16th Yang di-Pertuan Agong. As such, Tengku Hassanal wants the police to take decisive action without compromise against the Perikatan Nasional Chairman for touching on royalty, religion and race, also known as 3R issues. In a statement issued by Istana Abdul Aziz, Tengku Hassanal said that despite being a former Prime Minister and seasoned politician, Muhyiddin distorted the facts and promoted a negative narrative by suggesting that Al-Sultan Abdullah was unjust when naming the country's 10th Prime Minister following the outcome of the 15th general election in 2022. He added that Muhyiddin's statement also appears immature, reflecting his inability to accept that he was not made Prime Minister. The statement issued has also been described as extremely dangerous, as it openly incites the public to lose faith in the institution of Malay rulers and sows division among the people. Tengku Hassanal stressed that Al-Sultan Abdullah did not arbitrarily decide to appoint the Prime Minister, even though the Constitution gave him absolute power. In fact, His Majesty at that time had consulted constitutional experts, top civil servants and sought the views of the Council of Rulers before making the decision. Tengku Hassanal's private secretary Amir Shafiq Hamzah made a police report on the matter at the Kuantan police station on Sunday night. Meanwhile, Muhyiddin has defended his controversial remarks. In a brief statement, the Pago MP said the remarks made during his speech in Nenggiri was not intended to insult the institution of the monarchy or contained any seditious tendency. The Perikatan Nasional Chairman also stressed that the remark did not violate any national laws, adding that he will fully cooperate with the police. New Mpox cases detected in the Philippines. This and more from the Foreign Front when we return.
Betul ke dia bercinta?
Kenapa asyik soal siasat pasal Nisha ni?
tak jealous kot.
Yes, I jealous.
Sebab dia ambil kesempatan dekat you.
Kau dah makan ubat? Kalau belum, aku suapkan.
You langsung tak kisah pasal I kan? Surprise.
Kita dah.
Bukan main seronok.
Kau keluar dengan Risha,
Dulu Dolah Debak. Isnin hingga Jumaat, 7 malam di Akasia TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Dia tiada hati perut sebab sanggup membunuh ibu bapa yang menjaganya daripada kecil. Kedua-dua mangsa ada kesantikaman berganda.
Tan Kim Jo, 73 dan isterinya Eng Chong Hua, 67 adalah disebabkan kecederaan parah akibat tikaman berganda.
Berapa lama Amir kenal dia?
6 bulan. Apa salah kau nak kahwin?
Over my dead body.
Aku terima nikahnya Siti Nur Emilia binti Sidik.
Amir dari awal dah minta izin, minta restu dari you, tapi you tak setuju.
Amir datang sini nak minta restu ibu.
I tak akan merestui perkahwinan ini.
Mentua, mulai 24 Ogos, Khamis hingga Sabtu 9 malam. Terbaru di Lestari TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
On to the foreign front. The Philippines has detected a new case of the Mpox virus on Monday, marking the first one since December last year. According to health officials, the patient, who was screened on Sunday, was a 33-year-old Filipino male who had no travel history outside the country. Officials are still awaiting the sequencing of the results of the test to determine what type of strain had been detected. Meanwhile, another case of the Mpox virus has been detected in Pakistan on Monday of the Clade 2 variety. However, spokesman for the National Health Services Ministry said as of now there have been no reported cases of Clade 1 in Pakistan. The court hearing of lèse-majesté charges brought against Thailand's former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra was adjourned until July next year after the examination of witness and evidence lists on Monday. According to Thaksin's lawyer, Winyat Chatmontre, the criminal court would hear from witnesses in 7 sessions scheduled for next July. After Monday's hearing, which was closed to the public, Winyat said Thaksin was ready to attend all the hearings and to prove he had no intention of insulting the royal institution. The case concerns comments Thaksin made during an interview with South Korean newspaper Chosun Ilbo in South Korea in 2015. In the interview, he claimed Privy Councillor supported the 2014 coup that ousted the government of his younger sister Yingluck Shinawatra. However, after his arraignment in June, he was released on bail of $14,400. Outgoing Indonesian President Joko Widodo announced on Monday that he has appointed people close to his successor in a cabinet reshuffle, including new energy and investment ministers, just 2 months before he's due to step down. Jokowi named former investment minister Bahlil Lahadalia as the new energy minister, while former ambassador to the United States Rosan Roslani has been appointed the new investment minister. He also named a professor at Bogor Agricultural Ministry, Dadan Hidayana, to head the new National Nutrition Agency, and a spokesperson for Prabowo Subianto, Hassan Nasbi, as the head of the presidential communications body. Jokowi will leave office in October, replaced by President-elect and current Defence Minister Prabowo, who won the election in February.
Inflasi juga terkendali di kisaran 2-3%.
Public hospitals across India were turning away all but emergency patients on Monday as hundreds of thousands of doctors continued refusing to work as part of a national strike. Medics have demanded safer workplaces and swift legal action following the rape and murder of the 31-year-old trainee doctor at Kolkata Medical College and Hospital. A spokesperson for striking junior doctors at the college and hospital said their indefinite cease work and sit-in will continue until demands are met. Meanwhile, the government has promised to establish a committee to suggest ways to improve safety for doctors and urged them to return to work. The medics, however, were not convinced by the promise of action. The strike started in Kolkata and spread quickly to other cities and states last week, becoming a national action on Saturday, backed by the Indian Medical Association. U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken has described the ongoing Gaza negotiations as maybe the last chance to secure a ceasefire and the release of captives. He also said he was working to de-escalate other regional tensions fueled by the war. The new ceasefire plan, drawn up by the U.S., Qatar and Egypt, was presented on Friday, following 2 days of high-stakes talks in Doha. The deal, however, was rejected by Hamas, claiming that the latest proposal did not include a permanent ceasefire and introduced new conditions on the exchange of prisoners, among other issues. Meanwhile, Hamas has called on all countries to criminalize the racist and criminal practices and violations committed by Israel against humanitarian aid teams supporting Palestinians in the Gaza Strip. In Italy, one person has died while 6 remain missing after a luxury super yacht with 22 people on board sank off the Sicilian coast. 15 people were brought to safety after the 50-metre sailboat capsized at about 5 a.m. local time due to rough winds and choppy waters caused by a waterspout. Rescue divers were trying to reach the hull, which sank to approximately 50 metres, in search for the 6 missing. The Public Prosecutor's Office in Termini Imerese is investigating the incident. Danish and Arifina crowned Sprint King and Queen. Action from the Sukma Sarawak after this short breather.
Cintakan Jazlan sepenuh hati I, Masya Allah ya Habibi.
Umi nak bagi tahu, Kasih dia nak pergi Mekah buat umrah lusa.
Oh, ya ke?
Tolong rekod jap. Sekarang ni saya ada dekat
Assalamualaikum dulu. Sekali.
Assalamualaikum. Hai semua.
Lelaki Melayu terakhir di Samarinda TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Wanita hari ini.
Akibat cinta selalu memakan diri. Cinta itu buta atau membutakan? Menu warung dapat mengembalikan nostalgia. Nasi ayam bihun sulaksa macam-macam, rasa lapar pula. Bentuk badan warna kulit paras rupa kadang-kadang dijadikan bahan ejekan dan sindiran. Body shaming dengan tujuan mengaibkan atau sindiran ini akan kita bincangkan. Nafkah adalah tanggungjawab tahu, tapi ramai yang culas. Demi rumah tangga sanggup berkorban. Demi kebahagiaan bersama. Semuanya di WHI TV3. Stream sekarang ditonton.
Wanita hari ini.
Guna kontena, seludup ribuan barangan tiruan berjenama.
Saya tak tahu. Barang dulu. Saya tanya you. Kalau ada brand macam mana?
Penghantaran waktu malam jadi taktik elak pihak KPDN.
Kita ambil tadi ya? Ambil tadi ya? Okey, apa tadi?
Saksikan 999 Selasa jam 9 malam di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
We're back with sports. The 2024 Sukma Sarawak, Johor's Danish Iftikhar Rosli and Selangor's Nur Afrina Batrisha Rizal were crowned the Sprint King and Queen after winning the men's and women's 100-metre gold medals respectively on Monday. Running in lane 3, 17-year-old Danish claimed the gold medal by clocking 10.53 seconds in the final. Selangor's Danish Irfan Tamrin finished second with a time of 10.60 seconds, while bronze went to Pahang's Efrain Firzan Khan Yazid. Meanwhile, Afrina met expectations by securing gold in the women's event with a time of 11.64 seconds, breaking the Sukma record previously held by Terengganu Azrin Nabila Alias, who set a time of 11.81 seconds. The silver medal went to Terengganu's Izzatul Musfirah Ahmad Kamal Azira, while Sarawak's Ormila Octavia Kodai Nyadau took bronze with a time of 12.19 seconds. In other action, Federal Territories walker Ko Jing Hong not only clinched the gold medal in the men's 20,000-metre race walking event, but also set a new Sukma record on Monday. The 19-year-old Sukma debutante dominated the competition with a time of 1 hour, 34 minutes and 38.20 seconds, breaking the game's record of 1 hour, 34 minutes and 56.10 seconds held by M. Thiagu of Perak. The silver was won by Pulau Pinang's Sriventan, while the bronze went to Selangor's C. Teban Raj. At the Pandalela Rinong Aquatic Centre, Elvis Presley Clement pulled a superb comeback fight to win the men's 3-metre springboard diving gold medal, finishing the 6-dive contest with 415.15 points. Federal Territories diver Yong Rui Ji settled for silver with 388.80 points, while Nurkayum Nazmi got the bronze with 377.65 points. In the women's 10-metre synchronised platform, Nur Elisha Rania Abrar Raj and Nurul Farisha Alia Effendi of Sarawak posted a total score of 262.08 to win the gold medal in the event. Perak, Cecilia Olivia Christopher Lionel and Siti Nurul Janah Malik took silver, while Terengganu Elisa Izora Imran, Uzli Fatil Janah Ashraf finished third. On to tennis, the 2024 Cincinnati Open. American Francis Tiafoe reached his first ATP Masters 1000 final in dramatic fashion on Monday after beating Holger Rune in the last 4. Despite losing the first set 4-6, the American produced an incredible comeback, beating the Dane 6-1, 7-6 in the next 2 sets. Tiafoe is set to face world number 1 Yannick Sinner in the final on Tuesday for the trophy. Earlier, Sinner played through a nagging hip issue to beat Germany's Alexander Zverev 7-6, 5-7, 7-6 to reach the final. The Australian Open champion, who already leads the ATP Tour with 4 titles this season, was limping at times and also favoured his right hip, but dug deep to dispatch the 2021 Cincinnati champion in 3 hours and 7 minutes. Forex trader charged with Istiqomah's murder. The details when we come back.
Red dengan Nurin dah kahwin. Kan? Masalah besar tu.
Surprise.
Papa Nurin dah nikahkan kami.
I don't care. Cerai.
Kalau macam ni lah perangai Mama. Sampai bila pun takkan bahagia, tahu tak?
Cuma kehendak Mama, saya ikut je.
Kita kena lari KL ni lah. Kenapa?
Datin, cik sini. Pengantin dah lari.
Ha?
Pengantin pasti jadi. Minggu akhir di Lestari TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Pasca Olimpik 2024, pencapaian dan hala tuju atlet Malaysia menjelang Tamasya Sukan Olimpik Los Angeles 2028.
Rawatan menggunakan ulat sampah dan lintah untuk membantu proses penyembuhan. Fakta atau mitos?
Nas, ada pasang bendera Malaysia kat kereta?
Pasti ada.
Macam itulah yang kita nak ya. Itulah semangat kemerdekaan.
Kamera sistem pengawasan keselamatan automatik atau AWAS untuk menjaga keselamatan di jalan raya.
Dan kos kelahiran anak dalam segmen Soal Wang.
MHI Isnin hingga Jumaat di TV3.
Juga stream melalui Tonton.
Hello, I tolong you. You nak tolong I tak?
Siapa macam tu ni? Bos, ini adalah apa? Apa ada kat dalam?
Betul.
Ya.
Apa yang bising-bising ni? Aku nak kahwin dengan dia.
Tut.
Dia milik aku.
No, tak.
Saya setuju.
Tangan macam ni kita sebut. Au! Macam mana, bos?
Macam lagi stres je.
Nightline continues. A teenager arrested in connection with the death of a 10-year-old girl who is believed to have been raped and killed in Kampung Bersah, Post Kuala Mu has been remanded for 7 days starting Monday. The remand order was issued by Magistrate Nurul Ashifa Rizwan after police made an application at the Sungai Siput Magistrates Court. The court granted the remand until August 25th to allow the police to conduct further investigations. Nuraina Humaira Rosli was reported missing on August 16th before being found dead in a swampy area in the village on Sunday evening. The police previously classified the case as sudden death but reclassified it as murder after preliminary results of the post-mortem on Sunday found that the victim died due to pressure on the neck. Following that, police arrested a 17-year-old boy on Sunday evening who was also a close relative of the victim to help with the investigation. The case has been classified as murder under Section 302 of the Penal Code. A Forex trader has been charged with murder in the Alugaja Magistrates Court on Monday in the gruesome case of dismembered teacher Istiqomah Ahmad Rozi. The former teacher was charged under Section 302 of the Penal Code before Magistrate Teo Shu Yi. 36-year-old Muhammad Fazli Arif Fazilah nodded his head after the charge was read out to him. However, no plea was recorded as murder cases fall under the jurisdiction of the High Court. He is accused of murdering Istiqomah between December 26 and December 31st last year near Kampung Tanjung Rimau Lua in Alugaja. The charge provides for the death penalty or up to 40 years in jail and whipping upon conviction. The court did not set bail and fixed October 22nd for the submission of lab reports and the appointment of a lawyer for the accused. It was earlier reported that a woman's body had been found in a rubbish bin by the side of the Alugajah Tampin Road in December last year, decapitated and with both arms and legs missing. Following DNA analysis, Alugajah Police Chief Azaria Busama confirmed last week that the remains were that of Istiqomah. Police investigation then led to the recovery of further remains, including the victim's fingers and head, about 6 kilometers from where the rest of Istiqomah's body had been found some 8 months ago. In Selangor, a 46-year-old freelance advertising man claimed trial at the Sessions Court on Monday to 2 charges of attempting to murder a handphone sales girl and a religious school teacher at a surau 2 weeks ago. Muhammad Firdaus Mashud made the plea before Judge Nur Zilawati Muhammad Noor. Muhammad Firdaus was accused of attempting to murder the victims aged 26 and 52 at 1:30 p.m. at Surau Al-Ihsaniyah Ahmadiyah on August 9th. The charge under Section 307 of the Penal Code provides a maximum jail term of 20 years. The court allowed bail at 15,000 ringgit with 1 surety for both charges. The accused was ordered to report to the police station on the 1st of each month, surrender his passport to the court, and he or his representatives shall not harass prosecution witnesses. The court set September 23rd for mention. As Nightline draws to a close this time around, let's take a look as Egypt reopened the Bimaristan, one of the oldest hospitals in Cairo, in efforts to encourage local communities to engage with and preserve their heritage. I'm Azaria Tagaya. Thanks for watching and we'll see you next time.